Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody, my name is Arnina. I want to present my presentation about the organizational size, life cycle, and organizational growth. The first, I will explain about the organizational size. Organizational size is discussions of the size of the organization and what and how it impacts the organizational management. The size of the organization usually defined as the total number of the organizations, but there are several problems according by Robbins, namely. The first is not all members of the organization are permanent, that there are counts as members of the organization only for a certain period. The second is regarding the effects of the organization on managers that are usually that need to be observed. The large and small scale of the size of the organizations turns out to be very different from one industry to another. The second is organizational size and structural characteristic. Organization size no longer influence organizational management when the number of the organization is large. Robbins says the limit for determining large of organization approximately 1,500 till 2,000. After the number, usually the influence of the organization is no longer obvious. And the three is the structure complexity. Structure complexity is defined as different degree contained in the organizations. We have three type differentiations. The first is horizontal differentiations, vertical differentiations, and spatial differentiations. The first is horizontal differentiations. Horizontal differentiation is the degree of separations between units in the organizations, and the vertical differentiation is depth of the organizational hierarchy. And the three spatial differentiation is the degree of geographical locations, distribution of facilities, and personnel of an organization. Example of organizational based on the level of complexity. The first is very complexity, very simple organizations and the organizations. The first is very complexity include the horizontal, vertical, and spatial differentiation. And the second is very simple organization include the low horizontal, vertical, and spatial differentiation. And the three is organizations that are among the extreme above. And the next slide is organizational size and formalizations. Formalization is defined as the degree to which the work within an organization is standardized. The size is of the number written of rules. Have three purpose and benefit. The first is consistency and uniformity. The second is economical self-saving, and the third is improved coordinations. And the next is organizational size and centralization. Centralization is related to discussion-making authority. Have the centralistic and decentralistic. Centralistic is discussion-making authority is at the top of the leadership or upper level of the organizations. The meaning is discussion-making is relating to strategic discussions. And the second is decentralistic. Decentralistic is discussion-making authority is spread in lower of the layers. Is the meaning is discussion making related to the executions of work. And the next is because organization needs decentralization by Robbins. Trend centralization describes along with the size of the organizations. The first is discussion can be taken with more detailed and complex information. And the two is the organization needs fast response. And the three, worker motivation can be increased by decentralization. And fourth, decentralization provides learning opportunities. And the five is the capacity of processing human information is limited. And the next is three main characteristics as distinct from other organizations. Have the organic organization, mechanistic organization, and bureaucratic organizations. The first I will explain about the organic organizations. Organic organizations include the complexity, formality, and centralization is low. And the second is mechanistic organizations include the complexity, formalization, and centralization is high. And bureaucratic organization include the complexity and formalization is high, and low include the centralizations. And the next organizational size and bureaucracy. Bureaucracy can develop high complexity and formalization while maintaining a level of centralizations. Bureaucracy is a type of organization that appears in certain past life cycle of an organization because of certain cause. Bureaucracy is not identical with government organizations, but bureaucracy can appear in public and business organizations. Administrative component. Organizational activity using portfolio thinking by the Christian Norton Parkinson has compared key activities and supporting activities in organizations. Parkinson's law is there are only a few or there is no relationship at all between work that must be done with the size of the staff assigned to run it. Give birth to administrative component terms or administrative component in organizations. The characteristic of bureaucracy as NDL tape 3 are followed by robbins. Have a division of labor. The second is well-defined authority hierarchy, and the third is employment discussion based on merits, and the fourth is career tracks or employees, and the fifth is distinctive separation of member organizations and personal life, and the sixth impersonal nature, and the seventh is high formalizations. That is a table for difference particular bureaucracy and ideal bureaucracy, and by category, the nature of the tax, organization, tax achievement, work bound, basic selection, power system, the nature of work based on permission, equipment, and office. The next, bureaucracy weakness according to Robbins have five. The first is goal removal. Goal removal is a regulation and procedures are carried out, but the goals is not addressed or not achieved. And the second is discussion application of rules of procedures. The meaning is implementing and employs rules or procedures out of place. And the three is employee alienations. The meaning is there is no inner bond with work commitment to the organization dresses. And the fourth is user complaints. User complaints, meaning that one must pass through the bureaucracy without alternative activities. And the five is the connection of power. The meaning is focus power on the highest level of the organizations. This is a Greiner organization life model. Have the 6 page. The first is Enterpreneurial page. The second is Collectivitas page. And the 3 is Delegation page. And the fourth is Formalization page. And the 5 is for Collaboration page. And the 6 the differentiation or post-industrialism. Every page have happened by the another crisis, and the first is leadership crisis, autonomic crisis, control crisis, bureaucratic crisis, and update crisis. Okay, this is I want explain about what is the meaning of the entrepreneurial page. Entrepreneurial page is it starts when the organization is established. Usually the size of the organization is still small. The management is carried out directly by the owner personally. In this page, not a few organization files. An economic crisis occurs where several operating units begin to feel the need to have greater authority to manage their activities and are no longer willing to be controlled through centralized discussion making. And the second is Collectivitas page. Collectivitas page is the organizations begin to clarify its structure and functions. Even though it was still informal, creativity and innovation are still the dominant characteristic. An economic crisis occurs where several operating units begin to feel the need to have greater authority to manage their activity and are no longer willing to be controlled through centralization discussion making. And the next is delegation page. Delegation page. Here in organizations begin to delegate discussion down, and rules and procedures are made more formal with it. Aim of the maintaining organizational efficiency and stability. When the organizations experience more complex growth, there is a crisis of control. This is due to the decentralization of discussion making. And the next page is formalization page. Formalization page. In this page, the way bureaucratic control are implemented by standardizing various activity. Achieve control causes a lack of adaptability to the environment. This led to a crisis called a bureaucratic crisis. And the next page is the collaboration page. Collaboration page is the way the bureaucracy works is to rational and impersonal, replaced by teamwork. The text that has been different is put back together in the work group managed by the team. When the teamwork is intensified, it results in physical and psychological fatigue. When a reverse attempt is no longer able to overcome saturation, a renewal crisis is born. There is a critical record of organization life cycles by robbins. The first is not all organizations go through this 5 page, and the second is the organizational, and the third a patch of this line or event that can be occur in the organizations. The role of administration in the organization life page. Grow or life cycle of the organizations by cards and con. The complexity of the function in organization can be distinguished evolutionarily. The model is easy to explain the role of administration in the page of organization life. Organization first format. The element in the organization structure is the technical core functions. There is no differentiations of functions, all done together, all through together collaborative efforts between members of the organizations. And this is 3 pages in organizational size life. The first page is first group page. First group page is there is separation of partners of activity other than technical tasks, but there are also other supporting activities. And the second phase is administration function arise is the maintaining tasks including personal management of company owned facilities management and public relations. And the third phase is adaptive function to administrative function or execution discussion making. That's all for me. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.